Hey guys, and welcome back to another test server review with Pendous. It's been a little while since we've done one of these. Haven't had much time to play on the weekends, but if you guys would like to read what's on the test server, go ahead and pause the video here. You can take a look at this. The biggest thing we're going to look at is the new heavy weapon prototype, as well as the team deathmatch new game mode. So that's just where all the beacons are off and everything. So first things first, the new heavy prototype, this is not what it's going to look like. They're just using the skin on the Zeus right now until they finish the model, I'm sure, on whatever it's going to look like. So go ahead and pause the video here if you'd like to go through and read this, but heavy weapon goes through energy shields. It's an energy weapon, and it does a % damage of whatever the robot's health is. So so you're going to take away, like, we'll say one burst takes away like a third of an enemy's health. It doesn't matter if that enemy has 200,000 hit points or 80,000 hit points, it'll take away a third of their health. So obviously that will scale your damage at the end of the match quite a bit. With the medium weapon prototype, we haven't really had a chance to talk about that yet. You can read this description. It looks like it's kind of incomplete and stuff like that. They didn't put a ton of time into that, but basically the closer you get to somebody, the more damage this thing does. There's also the update to the Noricums, which we haven't talked about yet, and basically the projectile velocity is much faster and the grouping is much closer, and the damage is now slightly higher, whereas last week it was much higher. And they still work just as well if you do an uppercut. So I got that uppercut, and I knew you guys would like that, so I figured I'd throw that in there. And just so you know, there's too much building in between yourself and the person above you here to do an uppercut. Now, last week when I was testing this new map, I was going around and seeing if everything was working, and this is probably one of the biggest bugs that I found, was that going down this ramp, you get a falling animation with every step, at least with faster bots. Last week I didn't have enough time to try this out with anything else. This week I tried it out with a few things and I couldn't get it to do it, so it looks like it was maybe fixed, but if you guys could go through when you're testing and make sure that this isn't happening, this would be a good thing for the developers to know. This map is still in its early testing. It also features a TIE bomber. Anyways, that's what I think it looks like from Star Wars as a TIE bomber. Then there's just a couple other things, like this texture right here. It's stretched out. It shouldn't look like that. There's also this texture here, which is also stretched out, the middle of this rock. And then this one here is stretched out to sideways and also needs to be fixed. If you guys find any other ones, make sure you let the developers know. As far as the heavy prototype, I think it definitely needs a % damage nerf, because I don't know. My first 3 games, these are my scores. So about 1 million damage, pretty close to 1 million damage, and then also close to 1 million damage. These are my first 3 rounds. Not trying to say I'm awesome or anything like that, but I don't know. This is what I was running while I was scoring those things. I don't know that that should have been the case. Maybe 1 round or maybe even 2 rounds, like it would have been okay. But anyway, so let's just jump right into the first round that I played here, yeah, that'll be I guess my feedback for for most of the stuff on the test server right up front. If you guys don't want to watch this gameplay, you can stop watching if you're just here for the review. But anyway, so as you can see here, I saw on Bag of Soup's channel. If you guys haven't checked him out, make sure you check him out. He does live commentary, and he's like one of the funniest people I know. So make sure you go show him some love. If you do, let him know that Stu sent you over in a comment on this video. But he called this thing like an ice maker, like an ice cube maker, because when it's shooting it kind of looks like it's, you know, shooting ice cubes out and stuff. Which I think is funny. Again, with the model that's on this heavy weapon prototype right now, this is not its final model. This is just the placeholder model that it looks like right now. So it'll have a new thing, I'm sure, in the future. If I was betting anything, it'd probably look something like a satellite dish or something, since it's supposed to be like, you know, sound waves or something like that. If you guys didn't know, with the Natasha and the Fury, and with one of the positions on the Butch, you can fire over top of these with your height. Not 100%. You're still gonna hit the structure a little bit, but just so you know, you can fire over top of those, and that's with other things too. When I run a Fury with 3 Thunders, that's actually one of my favorite spots to set up. Is right there. Just as a heads up. But anyway, so again, this weapon is doing a % damage of whatever the robot's health is. And so on my Natasha here, I have 2 of the prototypes, which have a maximum range of 350 meters, just like the Magnums and the Terrans, which is why I put the Magnums on this. You know, for close quarter stuff like this and for burst damage, you know, it might be better suited to have like pinatas or aphids even or something else like that on it. But yeah, I think it's a really cool idea for a weapon. I'm really pleased with the thought that went into that. A percent damage, like I don't know, I just think that's a really cool idea, because then it's not like, you know, super overpowered against like, you know, against like light bots and stuff like that. It's just, you know, whatever you're shooting at, it's just going to do a percentage of the health. Like if you're shooting at a light bot, it'll only do, we'll say like 20,000 damage. But if you're shooting at a Raijin, it's going to do like 70,000 damage as an example, like in, you know, in like 2 seconds. And so as far as discharge time, it says that it shoots like 16 cells per second and that it has a 30 cell clip, but it reloads while it's firing. So it takes, you know, to my calculation, it takes about 2.5 seconds to discharge fully. And then it has an 11-second reload. So that's good. I think that helps to balance it, but still, I think it, I don't know, I think it needs a little bit of a nerf. It does not pass through physical shields, if you guys are wondering that. So that's yeah, not something that it does. With the medium prototypes on here, again, like I said before, and like it says in the description of the weapon and in the test server email that I showed you guys, the closer you are to your enemy, the more damage this does. The further you are away, the less damage it does. So I think that's also a pretty cool idea for a weapon, you know, having that variable damage, and it depends on range. I mean, it's just like, you know, the bullet weapons, like something with a spread. The closer you are, the more damage it does. But with this, you know, since it's, you know, pinpoint accurate, I think that's just kind of a cool idea. My favorite robot to run this on is actually the Dash MK3, because when you're running it, you're able to turn your shield towards, you know, other people who are using anything blockable by a physical shield. And I'll show you some gameplay here with this in this round as well. Also with the dashes, I don't know if you guys have been experiencing this, but I've reported it a couple of times and it doesn't seem to have gotten fixed. With the double dash, it's very frequent. I can't remember. I was trying to, you know, remember to collect data on it so I could get like an actual percentage, but it's probably something like pretty close to half of the time, or maybe 40% of the time when I use the double dash, the second dash doesn't work. The first one does, but the second one doesn't. And it doesn't matter how long I wait to push the button or anything like that. The dash fails to work, the second part of the dash. And so with these bots here, you can see I'm trying to angle my shield towards them. I mean, we've got a whole cluster of blue teammates here. But you angle your shield towards them, and since the target lock will work on this, I'm trying to get around this Fujin's legs. But since the target lock on this thing will keep those firing at your opponent, you can use your shield to block like plasma or other medium prototypes, or even the heavy prototype. You can turn your shield so that you're blocking all of that, but you're still able to fire completely at him. So kind of like this Galahad is, like, since his shield is on the front and his weapons are fixed, you know, in the same direction, he's covered wherever he is. So this is like the only weapon that affords the MK3 similar protection to what the Galahad has. So as you can see here, trying to fire at this guy while he's trying to fire at me, he's hitting my shield, but I'm able to hit him there on and off as he was kind of moving around, but I don't think that he he knew that little tidbit of information there. So I'm trying to move in here so that we can break this Lancelot shield faster. With these as they are, I think they're doing about, all three of them together are doing about 15,000 damage per second when I'm up that close. And with these, you definitely want to make sure that you're using your target lock so you're not you know, getting stuck shooting in the wrong direction. It has a maximum range of 400 meters, and so you can start shooting them up then. With these level 8 ones, I believe that makes it 2,000 damage per weapon at that range. Or 6,000 damage for all three of them on this Dash MK3. For those of you who are going to ask the question, which Dash bot do I like the most? I like it's kind of a tough call. Like I love the speed and the dash on the MK, or on the 2 medium weapon slot one. I think it's just the MK1. I can't remember what it's called. But the one that just has 2 medium weapon slots, I love the speed and I love the dash on it. I like having the dash for a lot of reasons on most maps over having the jump ability that the ROG has. They're just kind of like competing against each other in that regard. Because like on the moon map, for example, having the jump that the Regaka has is really nice. Anyways, with Team Deathmatch, as you can see, there's no beacons around, and without the beacons, it's just free for all. If there's anyone, excuse me, right now as it is, if there's anyone remaining on the enemy team, like, or yeah, so when the timer runs out, sorry, when the timer runs out, if there's people remaining on both teams, it always ends in a draw. And I don't know. I know deathmatch in a lot of games, like it runs similarly or can run similarly, but I feel like it might be a little bit better if, you know, maybe a team won based on like damage or something like that. But then again, there's also the caveat that with that, you might only see like the same exact builds, kind of like we have in, you know, higher level play in the league system right now. I'm just trying to figure out how to make, you know, these modes a little bit more interesting. It is a lot of fun though. It's just like as far as like winning and draws and stuff like that. If it is going to end in a draw, I think it needs to, you know, maybe have like, you know, the top 2 players on both teams get like rewarded or something like that. And then they also need to change the end screen, which I'll show you here at the very end, because right now if it ends in a draw, it just shows that you lose, and nobody gets anything on either team. But I think it'd be probably better if the teams kind of got like a split up of resources, so that you're not, you know, wasting your time in a full 10-minute round for nobody to get anything. But you know, maybe they're not planning on doing any kind of rewards as far as you know, playing in this mode. Maybe the league mode is what they're trying to push for, you know, whatever reasons. So you guys will have to let me know what you think about the deathmatch. What do you think they should add to it? Or should it be restricted to just certain robot builds? Or, you know what I mean? Like, you know, maybe they take away like mid and long range stuff, because on the maps that they're allowing it to be run on, you're not, the team deathmatch as it is now is not going to be on Yamantau or on Springfield. It is only going to be on Power Plant, Dead City, the Moon map, the new map, the Valley map. So basically the close range maps. So, but yeah, definitely let me know what you guys think. I'd love to hear your feedback. And make sure you give the developers feedback as well in the feedback form after the test server is over, because these test servers are a lot of fun, but the statistics that they gather from the questions that are asked, I'm sure are very useful for them as they try to balance things and make things more interesting for everyone else. And especially with introducing new game modes, since that's something completely new to the game, I think they would definitely appreciate everybody's feedback as much as possible. So anyways, let me know what you guys think about that. So here you can see it ending in a draw, and then it just takes you to a losing battle screen. So yeah, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about the test server, especially about Team Deathmatch and the new heavy weapon. And I hope you guys have an amazing day.